Gamana Dia Falta ga First Unity Campus Spiridalta. And no, do not adjust your set. I am Aileen Curtin, and yes, I am coming from First Unity Spiritual Campus. And I want to wish you all a wonderful, happy St. Patrick's Day. And yes, I am the real McCoy, as you would say in America. I was born and raised in Ireland, in the southwestern part, actually from a place called Tournafulla, which is right on the Limerick-Kerry-Cork border. And I immigrated to the United States about 30 years ago. So St. Patrick's Day is always a wonderful day. For me, it allows me to connect to other Irish people who love to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And as you probably already know, most people will say everybody is Irish on St. Patrick's Day, as long as you wear a little wee bit of green and you drink responsibly, and you always lead with your heart and the best intention. So I am guiding this evening's meditation here at First Unity Spiritual Practice. And it is no accident that I'm here, because we knew this was going to fall on St. Patrick's Day. So they invited me to guide you here. I'm also the Dean of Education for ILI, the Institute for Leadership and Lifelong Learning International. And if you are familiar with our new website at First Unity, you will see we have lots of courses, lots of online services and classes, including our many available courses, as well as our spiritual leadership training at ILI. And yes, during this time of COVID, our doors are still closed, but our hearts are wide open. And through the wonder and the power of technology, and thanks to Brian, who is here, Vanik, who is here behind the scenes, we have been able to absolutely soar as a spiritual community. It's interesting that a year ago, around this time, was when all of this COVID started, and we weren't sure about what was happening. And of course, very quickly, everything went into fear and panic, and everything started to be shut down and locked down. And during this whole past year, we as a spiritual community have kept our hearts wide open. And I liken that in many ways to the work of a missionary. This is what we do here as ministers, as spiritual leaders. We continue to guide, to lead, and to be a beacon of love and hope in the world. Very much like St. Patrick. So if you look behind me, you will see that Brian created this beautiful backdrop for me. And you will see that there's a Celtic cross, and there's lots of greenery. So on St. Patrick's Day, while we celebrate the birthday of St. Patrick, who brought Christianity to Ireland, it's also a wonderful time to celebrate all of our connections and the God of our understanding. And so even though I was raised Catholic, and many of you who in fact have found First Unity or New Thought may have been raised in other religions, most of us have been able to move past many of maybe the limiting beliefs that we were raised in, particularly the beliefs about sin and the beliefs of that we were not good enough. So I love to share meditation, and I love to share New Thought, and I love to share the positive way we can still tap into the faith traditions that maybe we were raised in, and still be able to live a life that is full of hope and that is full of joy. And I've certainly been able to do that. Being raised Catholic, I'm able to incorporate a lot of my Catholic traditions. And I love explaining to people, particularly at this time of the year at St. Patrick's Day, that St. Patrick was in fact a missionary. He came to Ireland. He was brought as a slave, actually, from England as a 16-year-old boy, and he was sold into slavery into a farm, a hill farmer in County Antrim. And he spent probably 6 years in slavery, tending sheep and cattle. and he always maintained his faith and his belief in God. And he found himself at a time of his life promising that if he could escape out of Ireland and go back to where he came from in England, that he would become a priest or a missionary. And he in fact did that. He had a vision and a dream, and God spoke to him in his dreams. He managed to get back where he came from in England, actually someplace close to the Welsh area. And he did in fact become a priest, but he never forgot that period of life that he lived in Ireland, because the people in Ireland at that time had no knowledge of God. They had belief in many, many other different gods. And he also noticed that there was a lack of hope. And he had a vision one night, and he dreamt that the people of Ireland were constantly calling him back. And they said, Patrick, please come back to Ireland and tell us about your God of hope. And that is exactly what happened. So between the years, sometime around the year 465 or so, by the time that he in fact died, he had brought lots of missionaries with him. He went around Ireland teaching the people of Ireland about God. There are many, many legends about St. Patrick, but one of the legends that I love is that he drove the snakes out of Ireland. So the snakes never actually existed in Ireland, but the snakes that we like to think about today could have been the Druids, because Ireland at that time was considered pagan, where people had a belief in lots of other different gods and necessarily not in the one God of Christianity at that time. So we say that he drove the Druids out of Ireland, but he also used the shamrock, which is the 3 leaves of the shamrock, to go around Ireland explaining 3 persons in the one God, the Trinity. And so just a few little things about St. Patrick that might interest you. And the other thing right behind me, you can see in the backdrop, is a Celtic cross. And this is probably one of the most widely recognized icons that you can see if you go to Ireland that represents the Celtic ways. So the cross represents as above, heaven above, and below would be earth, and then right and left would represent life, birth, and then on the other shoulder, death. So that is generally the Celtic representation of the cross. And the circle represents the infinity, the all-ending spirit, the animating spirit with no beginning, no ending. So I love, and I wear a Celtic cross, and so I love just telling people about what the meaning of the Celtic cross is. And so I thought tonight for our meditation that this would be a wonderful way to bring in some of my own faith tradition, but also putting a new thought spin onto it. So I'd like you now to just close your eyes wherever you are, and maybe you'd like to visualize yourself maybe in a beautiful green field. Maybe you've been to Ireland, or maybe you are lying down on a beach, or maybe you're in the safety of your own home, wherever you are. So I want you to lie down, or maybe to sit. Make yourself as absolutely comfortable as you can. And I'm going to be your guide and create a special prayer and a circle of protection for you, so that you can do a meditation where you can enter into a space of peace and quiet for the next 30 minutes or so. And just a reminder that many of, including myself, many of the ministers who tune in are also Reiki masters. So that just know that if you're in need of healing, that there is Reiki that is going out to you. So open up your heart and open up your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you're needing or requesting something maybe for your mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual body. So come into your breath now. And so just take a few cleansing breaths with me. Maybe inhaling through your nose and slowly exhaling out through your mouth, releasing and letting go of any tiredness, any weariness, any hurts, any disappointments, anything that you need to release maybe from your day today. And just know that the stiller you can keep your body, the quieter your mind will become, and the more you can allow spirit, God, chi, prana, whatever you label it. We all have different labels, but it is all the same energy. So coming inside now as you continue to exhale and release and let go. With each exhale, you're relaxing your body, coming into your space where you're visualizing yourself, maybe lying down in a field of green, or maybe you are sitting under your own Celtic cross, like I am sitting with you today. And I'll be leaving some spaces throughout so that you have time to allow the God of your understanding maybe to speak with you, or maybe allow your own words of wisdom, your own heart to speak to you. And it generally takes our body at least a full minute or so just to come into a place of rest and digest. And maybe noticing if your abdomen is soft here, maybe you can bring your hand over your abdominal area and allow your belly to be soft, cueing your body here, that you're coming into a place of rest, of ease, where you can totally be in this space of calm. On this day, St. Patrick's Day. And I'm going to recite a prayer in Gaelic for you. It's the Lord's Prayer. And just allow these words, these ancient Gaelic words, to just resonate with your heart space. And maybe now you're beginning to breathe in and out through your nose. But just go breathe in any way that is soft. But just noticing that your breaths are becoming longer, more eased. And if you know the Lord's Prayer in English, maybe you can affirm that to yourself as I say these words in Gaelic. Ar nahir, atha nav, Gunné for Danim, Godagad a Riocht, Gunnéinter the Hull an Dalav, Mar a Nainter Nav. Arnaron Ehul, Thor doing enough, agus ma doing arviacha, Maravaha muidna dar vehuna fein, is na lig shin igahu, lead us not into temptation. Is na lig shin igahu, ag ser shin on alk. And I'd like to remind you in New Thought, we do not say that there is sin or evil. We say that sin is just an error thought. So I just want to remind you that as a child of the universe, a child of God, There is nothing that you have ever done that can ever separate you from the unconditional love of the God, of the Spirit, of your understanding. And in New Thought, we say that evil is, if you spell it backwards, it means live. So whenever we come into, when we have thoughts maybe that are dark or evil, it's a reminder that we are not living our full lives. So I'd like you now to just smile as you realize that maybe whatever things you were raised with, limiting thoughts, maybe from your own faith tradition, that you can rise out of these just like I did, being raised Catholic. And I love my Catholic faith, but I've learned to pick and choose what works for me. And so I invite you as well to do the same. And so now as you lie here in your space of peace and protection, I'd like to remind you now that your breath is the bridge that is going to now take you up into your heart space. And the color for the heart chakra is also green, just like the beautiful green of Ireland, the beautiful green of my backdrop, the green of the shamrock, and the green that many people are wearing today on this St. Patrick's Day. So now use your breath to connect you here to be the bridge in your heart. And as you breathe in and out, maybe you can feel yourself now that you have risen out of the fears, the lower fears that come with the lower parts of our chakra system here, being human. Yes, we all have fears, we have anxieties, but now you're coming into your heart space. And I'm going to take you through a breathing exercise that is going to take you deeper into a state of relaxation, a state where you can be at peace, where you can actually move the brain waves of your mind into a place of theta, where you can come into a space of healing. And so we're going to breathe in, counting down. And if you'd like to breathe down with me, I'm going to take you deeper into your spiritual heart space, your Anahata heart. It's the spiritual heart that lies behind the physical heart, that feels no hurt, no pain, that feels no disappointment. So let's count down as we breathe down. And when we get to the number 1, you will find yourself in your Anahata heart. 21, I am breathing in. 21, I am breathing out. 20, I am breathing in. 20, I am breathing out. 19, I am breathing in. 19, I am breathing out. So continue to count back at your own pace. I will remind you when we get to number 1. Maybe you're already there, so just count down at your own pace. Breathing in and out. "15, I am breathing in. 15, I am breathing out. 16, 9, I am breathing in. 10, I am breathing out. Five, I am breathing in. 5, I am breathing out. And now, I want you to observe and notice the peace and the tranquility that you have created. So maybe now you are in your heart space, maybe in the garden where you like to be. Maybe you're in your space where you like to connect with the God of your understanding. Maybe you have a place that you like to go from here. Maybe you like to go on a guided journey by yourself. I'm going to stay with you here in your heart space today. Connecting with spirit, with prana, with chi. And I'm going to call in the prayer of Saint Patrick, the prayer of protection. And as you lie here in your space, or as you rest here in your heart space, can you feel yourself completely surrounded, loved unconditionally? Feel yourself now connected here with all of your elders, your guides, maybe your angels, your seers, maybe your loved ones in spirit, your loved ones from far away. So they can be in spirit or they can be living. So connect here. And can you feel yourself now interconnected here in this perfect circle? Part of the Celtic circle in the cross that I talked about earlier, and seeing yourself as the intersection, feeling yourself in your humanity, in your spirit, in your mental body, in your physical body, connected here, all connected here, in this now moment. Feeling yourself surrounded, loved, totally loved unconditionally, totally accepted exactly as you are, without having to put on an act of any kind, without having to do anything, having access to all of the evolved energy of the universe, of which you are a part. And so maybe now here just basking and maybe asking questions or allowing guidance to come to you. Maybe you have questions, maybe you need to connect. So connect in your way, but feeling yourself completely loved, feeling yourself connected to the consciousness, to universal life force, spirit, feeling this all with you right now, feeling it going before you, feeling it behind you, feeling it within you, beside you, below you, above you. Feeling this on your right, feeling this on your left. Feeling yourself connected in this heart space with the hearts of everyone who thinks of you right now. Feeling this love in the minds of everyone who speaks about you. Feeling yourself interconnected here. Feeling yourself at one and at peace with all of this animating force, the spirit that is all around you. Feeling yourself totally protected, loved as you are. And so now I'd like you to visualize maybe a shield or a breastplate, which is what we call St. Patrick's breast shield. So this is a spiritual shield that is all around you. And feel this is something that is always with you. That this is a shield that allows love, unconditional love to come through and protects you from all error thoughts, and a reminder that whenever you need this shield of protection, that you can always come here within your heart space. You just need to visualize it here. And so maybe now visualizing maybe your angels, your guides, however it is that your shield shows up for you. So just notice what comes up for you now. We each have our own heart shield. We each have our own way of protecting ourselves spiritually. So ask here, if you are not aware of how you can protect yourself, ask here for what it is, so that you know that you can bring this out into the world with you. Maybe you shield yourself with angel wings. Maybe you create a bubble of protection. So notice what is given to you. So as you stay here in your heart space, just for a few more moments, enjoying this stillness, this quiet, knowing that you are now open to receive, maybe listening, receiving insight here, receiving answers, receiving healing, receiving love. Whatever it is that you are receiving now in this healing space, know that this is real. Yes, you are in a different space, you are in a higher energy level, a higher vibration, but you are in this space. So bathe it all in. Allow this to come into you as you rest here for another few cycles of breath. And now, maybe notice and look around you in this heart space, in your Anahata heart, your spiritual heart. Notice whoever showed up for you in spirit. Maybe giving an embrace, saying thank you. As we now get ready to leave your heart space, as I start to bring you back through into your physical heart. So as you bid adieu, say your goodbyes here, know that you can come back here anytime. You can create a space of stillness where you can come back here to the safety within your heart space. Can you see your shield that you're taking back out with you? So as you begin to come back now, maybe notice that you're beginning to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. And you can begin to count upwards now as you lengthen your breath. 1, I am breathing in. 1, I am breathing out. 2, I am breathing in. 2, I am breathing out. And continue to lengthen your breaths now, just bringing yourself back into the awareness of being back in your body. But no need to move yet, just bringing your awareness back into your body. Continue to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. And keeping your eyes closed here. I'd like you to rub your palms together. And if you're lying down, I'd like you to maybe draw your knees into your chest and maybe roll over to one side and hold the fetal position. And if you're seated, just slowly begin to wiggle. And I'm just drawing you back into your physical body. Keep your eyes closed. And if you're rising up from your lying down position, I want you to slowly come back up to a seated position. And continue your inhales and your exhales. And I'm going to close our meditation today with St. Patrick's Prayer of Protection. It's also known as St. Patrick's Breastplate, St. Patrick's Shield. And so just allow these words to resonate with you. I arise today through God's strength to pilot me. God's wisdom to guide me. God's eye to look before me. God's ear to hear me. God's word to speak for me. God's hand to guard me. Now bring your shield back into your awareness, the shield that you were given in your meditation. God's shield to protect me. So feel yourself surrounded and protected here. And so just take these last few moments here, maybe to visualize your shield, that you're drawing it around you, your spiritual shield of protection. And in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I'd like to leave you with my prayer of an Irish blessing, which I will do for you in Gaelic. It's the "May the road rise up to meet you." I'd like to thank all of you for joining me today on this St. Patrick's Day. And I'm letting you go a little bit early tonight because I believe you should go out, see the sunset, put your toes in the sand, put your toes in the green grass, and celebrate and take in the beautiful sun as we've come out of this period of COVID where people are now, we've sprung forward the time. So I want you to go outside and to celebrate being outside on this St. Patrick's Day. And so until we meet each other again, may the road always rise up to meet you. Ganairi and boher lath, go may an ghay go brach the cool, may the winds be always at your back. Go lunry and green go te daig, may the sun always shine warm upon your face. Agus go dite an bháiste go bug bin the forcanna, may the rains always fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you safely in the palm of His and her hand. Go di go múlamid héile arish, go gine dia slán hu, I gart lár al live. Go out and celebrate. Namaste.